Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, we're going to take a look at Pastel Goofy from Mickey and Friends. The ability description for Pastel Goofy is clear zooms in the shape of an X, so it's relatively self-explanatory. The game demonstration that you're currently watching right now on the screen is a skill level 1 game demonstration, so the skill range is going to be extra small. So let's take a look at the stats really quickly. In order for you to activate Pastel Goofy's ability, you'll need to clear a total of 14 copies of him off the screen. His minimum score is 800 with a maximum score of 2074 if you're able to get him to level 50. It's only going to require you 29 copies of Pastel Goofy from the premium box to max out Pastel Goofy. So if you're looking to max out a Tsum, Pastel Goofy might be that option for you, but before you jump to investing your skill ticket into Pastel Goofy, you might want to think twice because Pastel Goofy is not necessarily that great for coins, not that great for score, and not really that great for missions either, which we'll get to in a little bit when I show you their side-by-side comparison. But I do want to go over one of the strategies if you are going to use Pastel Goofy. When you are using Pastel Goofy, you do want to make sure that the top half of the screen does have a lot of zooms, because if you don't, then you're really going to be wasting the ability. Majority of the animation will clear the top half of the screen, of course in the shape of an X just like it's described. So to optimize that, you want to make sure that the top half has a lot of zooms. And don't worry about the bottom part because the bottom part doesn't really get impacted too much. Pastel Goofy is a relatively easy zoom to use. You don't need to use gyro or anything like that, so just play regular. You could turn on the gyro if you want, but it's not going to benefit you in any way. In some cases, if your zooms are kind of empty at the top, you might want to hit that fan button to jump a bunch of zooms to the very top button, so that way it has a lot of areas to clear up at the top. But let's actually take a closer look at the Pastel Goofy, do a side-by-side comparison between skill level 1, 2, and 3. I'm really going to show you the animations activate at the same time and then talk you through how they differ. So between skill level 1, 2, and 3, the major difference here is the skill range. At skill level 1, the skill range is going to be extra small. Skill level 2 is going to be small. And finally, for skill level 3, the skill range is going to be medium. As you can see here on the screen, I am playing them at a relatively low level, so level 1, level 2, and level 3. These were my early attempts, so they're not necessarily my best attempts, but I feel like I've gotten pretty good game demonstrations for them, that these are pretty much what you could expect. It's not going to deviate too much from these 3 game demonstration. Now overall, I don't recommend you to invest your skill tickets in Pastel Goofy. And the reason for that is he doesn't really earn a lot of coins and he doesn't really get you a lot of combos either. He might be good for score though, but you will need to get him to a relatively high level, so like level 50, to really hit that maximum score potential. Not a lot of zooms gets into that 2000 range for score, but Pastel Goofy is one of them. He is also really easy to use. So if you're lucky enough to at least get Pastel Goofy once, then I think that's good enough. There's not a whole lot of significant difference between skill level 1, 2, and 3 here, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend you to invest your skill tickets into this zoom. There's definitely a lot of other zooms that you might want to invest in that you might have got in the past or even in the future. Unfortunately, this month, all of the Pastel zooms aren't necessarily that great, so we'll have to see towards the end of the month, or actually in the middle of the month, to see how those 2 other zooms go. But as far as Pastel Goofy, you might want to just pass on this one. One of the things that you do want to take into consideration when you are using Pastel Goofy is also spam his ability. Because you are going to activate his ability relatively quickly, then you want to spam his ability because that way a bunch of the extra charges will go into the next ability. Pastel Goofy does have a relatively low charge up time, so that is one of the positives, one of the pros for Pastel Goofy. And you have to kind of play it out though, because you don't necessarily want to activate the ability too quickly when the screen's kind of empty at the top. So you have to balance out that strategy. Is the screen too empty? If it is, then you don't want to spam the ability. One of the things that you could also do is keep an eye out on the bottom half of the screen. If you look at skill level 1, because the ability or the little X shape doesn't really touch the bottom 3 rows, if you clear the bottom 3 rows, you definitely could spam the ability. Alright, so let's take a look at the animation activated at the same time and do a side-by-side comparison. So all three of them is going to look the same. Goofy is going to bounce up to the top and then does an egg shape and makes this little clear here. Now take a look at the difference between skill level 1, 2, and 3, and you'll notice the skill ranges are a little bit bigger for skill level 3 compared to skill level 1. 2 and 3 kind of look similar. If you look closely at skill level 3, the top right hand corner has some blanks there because there weren't zooms there. So that's why I mentioned earlier that maybe using the fan ability might be beneficial in some cases. It might not, but give it a try. I didn't use the fan ability because I always waited for the zooms to settle before activating it. Give the fan a try and let me know how that works for you. For skill level 1, I got a chain of 19. For skill level 2, I got a chain of 22. And for skill level 3, I got a chain of 24. I would say that I got these pretty consistently, so I would say that these are pretty average for what you could expect if you wait for the screen to be full before activating the ability. So not too amazing, but also at the same time not that bad. Just he doesn't really earn you a lot of coins, so that's why I don't really necessarily like Pastel Goofy. At the end of this gameplay, for skill level 1, I got 1,143 coins. Skill level 2, I got 1,431 coins. And finally, at skill level 3, I got 1,601 coins. So like I mentioned earlier, he's not that great for coins, but he might be a good one for score. It's one of those sims that I have to level up to really tell you. He is a really easy sim to use, so if you are looking for a sim that's relatively easy to use and gets a decent amount of score, then maybe get Pastel Goofy, especially if you are newer to the game and haven't invested in your building up your arsenal of zooms that you have right now. Then Pastel Goofy might be a good option. But if you are the type to just wait it out, wait for a good zoom to come around, then I would actually suggest that. Save up your skill tickets until the very end, until you find a zoom that is worth investing in, then throw all of those skill tickets into that zoom. Typically, I highly recommend individuals who are new to the game to invest in Jedi Luke, maybe even Gaston and Cinderella, because those three zooms are really good zooms to earn you a good amount of coins. Actually, they are one of the top coin earners. They're not necessarily the easiest zooms to use, but once you get the hang of it, they do earn you a lot of coins. And I do get that question a lot on how I get a lot of coins, and really I just spend pretty much all day using Jedi Luke, and that will get you a lot of coins. Each game I earn about 10,000 coins or so before the coin boost, so it does earn you a lot of coins when you are playing with Jedi Luke. But anyways, back to Pastel Goofy. Really, again, not worth it. So I would recommend saving your coins. So that's pretty much it for this one. I hope that you guys found this video helpful in determining if you want to invest in Pastel Goofy or not. Let me know in the comments below if you plan on investing in Pastel Goofy. And if you guys would like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this or want to support this channel, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching.